Om Swastiastu. Good morning, everyone. I'm Debbie, the moderator of today's webinar. And then I'm very happy to see you. And then welcome to Webinar National 2021. The webinar is about reach your future by staying away from drugs and juvenile delinquency. So don't know, so don't laugh. Okay, everyone, I will introduce the speaker, namely Mr. Dewamade Yoga Wirayana. And then Diva, please share the CV of Mr. Yoga. Okay, everyone. As you can see, this CV of Dewamade Yoga Wirayana, SPD, NPD. The regarding education, he completed his academic level at Bachelor of Law in Universitas Indonesia, and then the senior high school at number one Singaraja. Then the experience of Mr. Yoga is a speaker at National Anti-Drug Seminar Poster, a young generation, and then a speaker at the Undiksa 2019, carrying student seminar about narcotics. And then Mr. Dewamade Yoga Wirayana have a number of award certificates that he won, including a second best graduate campus newspaper news editor, like Laguna Daily, the leader of the Laguna Debat community, and then a member of the Universitas Indonesian Law Association. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without waiting any long time, please welcome the speaker, Mr. Dewamade Yoga Wirayana, SPD MPD. Mr. Yoga, time is yours.
Okay, thank you for the time. Before I bring the material, first introduce myself. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dewamade Yoga Wirayana, and you can call me Yoga. I'm from the National Narcotics Agency in the Buleleng area. I will bring material about drug prevention for the surrounding community. Currently, the dangers and impacts of drugs or narcotics and drugs on the life and health of addicts and their families are increasingly troubling. Like the side of a coin, drugs become substances that can provide benefits and also damage health. As is well known, there are several types of drugs that are included in the type of drug used for the healing process because of their calming effect. However, if used in excessive dosage, it can cause addiction. This abuse is intentionally because the user feels a pleasant effects from here are yes, the desire to continue to use it in order to get a hallucinatory. Although the effect of drugs known by many people, it still does not reduce the number of users. The dangers of drugs to become addicted can indeed be curbed but it would be better if you stop using them as soon as possible or don't use them at all. Definition of drugs, narcotics, and drugs. Narcotics are substances or drugs that are natural, synthetic, or semi-synthetic, which cause a decreases in consciousness, hal- hallucination, and excitability. Meanwhile, according to Article 1, Paragraph 1 of the Narcotics Law, it is stated that narcotics are art- artificial substances or those originating from plants that have hallucinatory effects, decreases awareness, and cause addiction. This drug can cause addiction if used excessively. The use the use of this substance is as a painkiller and prophylaxis count. Misuse can be subject to legal sanction to find out what types of drugs and the dangers of drugs for health. Consider the following reviews. Types of drugs. The content contained in these drugs can indeed have a bad impact on health if misused. According to the law on narcotics, the types are divided into three groups based on the risk of dependence. Narcotics number one. Class number one. Narcotics such as marijuana, opium, and coca plants are very dangerous. It causes myth because of the high risk of causing addiction effect. Narcotic group number two. Meanwhile, narcotics class number two can be used for treatment as long as it is in accordance with doctor's prescription. There are approximately 85 types of this group, some of which are morphine, alpaprodina, and others. Group number two also has high potential to cause dependence. Narcotics group number three. And lastly, class number three, narcotics have a fairly mild risk of dependence and are widely used for treatment and therapy. As mentioned above, there are several types of drugs that can be obtained naturally, but some are made through chemical process. If based on the material of manufacture, the types of narcotics include synthetic narcotics. This type this type is obtained from a complicated processing process. This group is often used for medical and research purposes. Examples of synthetic narcotics such as amphetamines, methadone, dexamphetamine, and so on. Semi-synthetic narcotics. Processing processing use the main ingredient in the form of natural narcotics, which is then isolated by extraction or using other process. Example are morphine, heroin, codeine, and others. Natural types of narcotics, marijuana and Coca-Cola, are examples of narcotics which are natural and can be used directly through a simple process because the content is still strong. The substances are not allowed to be used as drugs. The danger of this drug is very high and can cause bad effects on health if misused. One of the fatal consequences is that dangers and impacts of drugs on life and health. The circulation and impact of drugs is greatly very disturbing. The age of obtaining these hazardous materials make its user increase regardless of gender and age. Everyone is at risk of getting addicted if they have tasted this dangerous substance. Although there are several types that are allowed to be used for medical purpose, they must still get close su- supervision from doctor. There are many dangers of drugs to life and health, including dehydration. Misuse of the substance can lead to reduced electro electrolyte balance. As a result, the body is dehydrated. If this effect continues, the body will have convulsion, hallucination, appear more aggressive behavior, and feeling of tightness in the chest. Long-term effects of this dehydration can cause damage to the brain. Hallucination are on the are on of the effects that are often experienced by drug users such as marijuana. Not only that is excessive, thus it can also cause vomiting, nausea, excessive fear, and anxiety disorders. If the use lasts for a long time, it can lead to worse effects such as mental disorders, depression, and content anxiety. Decreased level of consciousness. Users who use these drugs in excessive, thus the effect actually makes the body to release it so that consciousness is drastically reduced. In some cases, the wearer sleeps constantly and does not wake up. The loss of consciousness makes body coordination disturbed, often confused, and changes in behavior occur. The impact of drugs that are quite high risk is memory loss. So it is difficult to recognize the surrounding environment. That the worst effect of drugs occur if the user use these drugs in high dose, which is known as an overdose. The use of methamphetamine, opium, and cocaine can cause convulsions in the body, and if left unchecked can lead to death. To death. This is the fatal consequence that must be faced if you get addicted to narcotics. Your life is is at stake. Impaired quality of life. The dangers of drugs are not only bad for the condition of the body, the use of these drugs can also affect the quality of life. For example, difficulty concentrating at work, experiencing financial problems, to having to deal with the police if proven to have violated the law. The use of narcotic substance is only allowed for medical purpose in accordance with the supervision of a doctor and also for research purpose. The risk these drugs do not have a positive impact on the body. What exceeds the quality of life is disturbed, relation with family are chaotic, health is declining, and the worst thing is causing that Trevor, do not try to use these dangerous goods because the risk is very high for life and health. So many the materials that accompany whatever any of you asks.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dewamade Yoga Wirayana, for giving we such information and interesting presentation. Okay, uh, everyone, because the presentation session is over, let's we move to the next session, which is a question and answer session. Okay, and then I'd like to invite you to ask for Mr. Yoga. Please raise hand in this room. Okay. From Niputu Sri Dipa Anggreni, please.
Okay, my question to Mr. Yoga, why do people try to take drugs? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Diva, for your question. And then from Mr. Yoga, you have clear with the question. All right, please answer the question.
Okay, I will answer the first question from Sridiva Angreni. Why do people try to take drugs? The people who get tangled up in the cases of drugs use is usually due to family factors that pay little attract attention to children, environmental factors, and lack of education. The reason why people take drugs include enjoyment, being energetic, and reading time, selfish of cynicism and laziness.
Okay, thank you so much for Mr. Made Dewi Yoga Wirayana. And then the next question is who will to try? It's from Nikadek Tia Dwi Sukreni. Oh wait. Okay, from Ikadek Agus Mahendra. The question is, hi Mr. Yoga, I want to ask, why in several countries like Canada, Italia, Argentina losing marijuana use rules? Have you clear with the question, Mr. Yoga? Okay, please
Okay,
answer.
question number 2. Why is several continues like Canada, Italy, Argentina loosen marijuana use rules? Because those countries assumes the marijuana in a cause in fair use.
Okay, sorry for interrupt, Mr. Yoga. Can you repeat your answer?
Okay. My answer is because those countries assumes the marijuana in cause in fair use.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Yoga. It's
okay,
clear.
thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Yoga. And then I think this is the last question from Nikadek Tia Dwi Sukreni. And the question is, hi, Mr. Yoga. I want to ask something. If see suspicious activity that leads to drugs, what should do first? It's clear, Mr. Yoga?
Okay. The question number 3. If suspicious activity that leads to drugs, what should do first? My uh, my question is the National Narcotics Agency has released 52 characteristics of drugs users recommends that those of you who see relatives, neighbors, or friends are addicts or see that characteristic of drug user, they immediately report to a major hospital or BNN to get rehab.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Dewa Made Yoga Wirayana. Okay, everyone, thank you for the question. And then finally, we come to the end of this webinar. Okay, before we close this session, I will conclude the whole seminar at this time. Continuous drug consumption makes the body experience compulsions, hallucinations, aggressive behavior, and a feeling of tightness in the case. In the long term, this dehydration can also cause damage to the brain. One of the effects that are often experienced by drug users, such as marijuana, is hallucination. Okay, everyone. I think this is the last sessions. And once again, thank you so much because you can join in this webinar. And then I am Debbie Arya Depi as the moderator. Say goodbye to my vaccinations, and there is no ivory, there is no cricket. Okay, I apologize if there are mistakes in the words or actions during this activity. Finally, I say thank you and I close the seminar with Paramasanti. Om Santi 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 Om.
Thank you, Mr. Yoga.